You're listening to the Average Sports Guys podcast with Eddie and Marcus.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Yo.
This is Eddie and Marcus here. This is the Average Sports Guys podcast. Today's Thursday.
Yeah.
January 28th.
Yes, sir.
2021. Man, like January's gone quick. I feel
Super
like
quick, bro.
I feel like every third or fourth episode, I'm always saying the month went by quick, but it legitimately has.
Yeah.
So it's almost over again. This is episode 58.
58.
And we have the Super Bowl set, man.
Yeah.
It's Bucs Chiefs.
Bucs Chiefs.
Who would have thought? I mean, we both picked Aaron Rodgers, man.
Man, we're going to get into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, let's just get into that.
For sure.
So the Buccaneers beat the Packers 31-26. I figured it would be somewhat of a close game. I just didn't think the Buccaneers would be on the winning side of that.
Me neither, because like we said in the last show, like Aaron Rodgers has been surgical all season. You couldn't stop Devontae Adams. You couldn't stop Allison. You couldn't stop Jones. Their defense played, as far as the secondary, they played well. They still had trouble against the run a little bit, but overall, they were just blowing you up all game, and there was nothing you can do. You couldn't get to Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
They were putting up points, and it just sucked to be you, to be on their schedule.
Yeah. Well, now, I will say this. The Packers had plenty of opportunity to win that game.
Don't get me started.
So, I know we normally do the y'all killing me, so
Y'all trying to kill me? You killing me, man?
So I'm going to just get into mine.
Go ahead.
It's Aaron Rodgers on that third down play. He could have ran that ball. Now, he may not have gotten in for a touchdown, but it would have set up a fourth and manageable.
Right.
Like, the way he scrambled out and then he threw it, and I'm like, oh, you had so much space. That killed me. But then more importantly, LaFleur, man, why do you kick the field goal there instead of going for it?
Bro, that was my exact pick for You're Killing Me, man, because like,
Y'all trying to kill me? You killing me, man?
you literally have the quarterback like in the league to go for it on fourth down, and you just don't do it. And
yeah,
it's like losing, you're going home. So why not throw the kitchen sink at the Bucs? Like, you know how this rivalry goes. Like, we're talking about like two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks, two legends. You do any and everything. You pull out every trick play. I don't understand it. That blew my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they were playing like there was a tomorrow.
Right.
And there's just no tomorrow, as they found out, because they ended up losing. But no, I mean, they, in my opinion, had plenty of opportunity to win that game.
Yep.
Now, I thought the refs really let them play most of the game until it came down to the jersey grab. Well, it was his T-shirt.
It was the T-shirt.
And to me, it wasn't that egregious, and to put that in context, compared to some of the other things that were going on all game, and then they decided to call that because, I mean, the game was close.
Right, and it's like the game was close. It was at the end of the game, and like I want to say the series or two before that, these Bucs defenders, these D-backs were like yanking jerseys, and then you wait till the end of the game to throw a flag. Not just that, the flag was super late. Like that's one of the latest flags I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like they were almost ready to get set for the next play.
Next play. It's like, oh crap. Wait. I gotta throw a flag.
Hold up. We can't this is the same old. Aaron Rodgers getting the ball back with like a couple minutes left on the clock, maybe even less than that. And then, him riding off into the sunset. We can't have that. Here's this flag. Take it and eat it. That was crazy.
Like, I was trying to look to see if that was the same ref that didn't high five Tom Brady in the end zone in New Orleans. And then it became like a meme. It was everywhere. So the dude felt bad, and he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta get my man Tom." Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. I just now I'll say this. I've said this. I've been a firm believer the whole time I've played sports growing up. Always been taught to me, you don't leave or you don't put your team or yourself in a situation where something is decided by the referees.
Yes.
Right. So again.
Facts.
There were plenty of plays to be made that were just ended up left on the field. So again, I just no Antonio Brown, and they were still able to get it done.
Right.
I would have liked to see Aaron go one more time.
For sure. And just to have this, like, just to see that man in a Super Bowl and then two gunslingers in a productive Super Bowl that ultimately, in my opinion, would have been more of a shootout than anything. It would have been a great storyline. You know what I mean? Not to say that the Bucs Chiefs aren't a great storyline. I just think that one would have been a little bit better, but it's all good.
Yeah, and I think people are still kind of in that still have that same opinion about any two teams other than whatever team Brady's on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So needless to say, I'm going to be rooting for the Chiefs. Right?
For sure.
Now, speaking to the Chiefs, let's get into the Chiefs-Bills. So Chiefs won 38-24.
Yeah.
To me, they were in control of that game the whole way.
Like, they always, like, in the playoffs for the past, 2 seasons, they always pump fake within the first quarter, and they're just like, we'll spot you 9, 10, 14 points, and then we'll get serious and beat the brakes off you. Like,
I mean, hell, they can beat you. They could be trailing the whole game and beat you in the fourth quarter, a la the Super Bowl.
Right. And it was like, what I appreciated from the very beginning parts of that game was, when Hardman muffed that punt.
Yeah. Yep.
The team didn't just leave him alone on the sideline. They went right up to him. Was like, "Hey, man, you must have forgot we're the Chiefs. Like, we coming back."
Did you see? You see him throw that jacket over himself? And
Oh,
he just
bruh.
kind of huddled in there.
Facts.
And Patrick Mahomes came over and like basically took it off. He's
Right.
like, "Man, you're good, man.
You
Like,
straight. Like, if you must not know who I is."
yeah." And he turned it around. I mean, he had that huge gain on that end around, and he had that touchdown pass. I believe they were in the red zone.
Yep, he did.
So, I mean, job well done. Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, and you just can't say enough.
You really can't
about them.
Like, this man doesn't believe in starch. This man does not believe in ironing shirts, because every week there's always new wrinkles in his man's game plan. You think you know the play, and it goes to somebody else.
There's some wrinkles in that face mask he got on too.
Facts.
What is up with that? That thing looks terrible.
For sure. And even though this really won't go, being said too often, one thing I honestly noticed was that defense and that secondary was literally draped all over those Bills receivers all game. It was bad. Like, it was one of those games where you're like, is that really the Chiefs secondary? Because they're usually playing zone, they're usually playing off a little bit, but they're like, nah, man, we going for broke, fam.
Right.
And Stephon Diggs, he had a good game, but it wasn't like it was like a crazy like breakout, I'm torching you all game. Nah, this man was catching the rock and getting hit.
It's pretty quiet.
And then on one catch, this dude got hit and the ball popped out, and everybody in the stadium heard it. So it was like, shout out to the Chiefs, man. They came prepared for that game.
Oh no, for sure. I went into it picking the Chiefs, right?
Right.
Figured they would win. I like the Bills' story. I like what they were able to do this year, especially with the addition of Stephon Diggs.
Right.
They arguably have the best fans in the NFL. You heard what they did after Lamar got hurt. They raised this money to donate to
his favorite charity.
To his charity. Yeah. So I mean, that's like pretty cool. Now, I will say, I think I tweeted towards the end of that game because it got chippy from the Bills players. I'd never seen them act like that. So I was just like, keep it classy, Buffalo. Like, like they just kind of got out of hand there.
A little bit.
But I mean, I get it, right? Emotions run high. It's a competitive sport, competitive league. You're not guaranteed to get back there.
Right.
But I think we have not seen the last of the Bills. I mean, I think they have built that team the right way.
Shout out to McDermott and what he's been able to do with that franchise, Bills Mafia. You guys have a lot of good years to come with what you guys have been able to do with Josh Allen. And one thing you can honestly say about that dude, progression from last season to this season, he looks like a totally different QB. Up until this game, like, he's confident, he's still throwing lasers, but having that true number one receiver in Stephon Diggs on top of having a stud running back in Singletary, like, you really can't go wrong. Cole Beasley got off a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, they got a legit squad, so I wouldn't hang my head too low if I was a Bills fan at all, because you have playoff wins coming and a potential championship if you continue to build around Allen like you have been.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, clearly, if you're a fan of that team, it hurts, right? Like
Right.
Washington got knocked out the first round. Now, honestly, seeing that the Buccaneers have made it to the Super Bowl, to be a Washington fan, like you don't feel that damn bad that you basically lost to a Super Bowl team.
Yep.
They went in there. Now, I will say we played the Bucs much better than the Saints did.
Right.
But you have to be encouraged if you're a Bills fan, right? And then same for like Washington. That was the comparison I was making, is that it hurts and it stings in the moment because that's your team.
Right.
But us, like, we're not invested into the Bills, so we watch it and we see like, man, this squad is good. It's legit. It's not anything anybody doesn't know. But I think they're built to continuously make noise in the playoffs. And hey, as long as you get a crack at it every year, anything can happen. For sure. So, I mean, look at you guys back in 2017. You guys got in and the rest was history. So,
yes, sir.
For sure, I definitely look for them to get stronger. I think they're going to mess around, and if they can add a little bit more on offense, they're going to be super elite. Because I still think their defense is legit. I mean, I don't really see any glaring deficiencies on defense. Clearly, now you want to add depth and things of that nature, and maybe some rotational pieces so some guys can get some rest. But yeah, I mean, I think they're there. They're so close.
So close.
And you got to imagine Josh Allen's only going to get better.
Only going to get better.
So, yeah. But as we said, it is a Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl. Marcus and I, we will get into that heavy next week. It is going to be our Super Bowl show.
For sure.
And that will be our last, football season show, and then we'll begin our off-season pods. We got some interesting things in the works with that. It should be fun. We're going to try to make it as interesting as we can, not just regurgitate the same old news that you're hearing on every other radio show or podcast or Twitter feed or Instagram stories and all that. So we'll try to mix it up and get creative. We'll ask for your input as well, some things that you want to hear or see or whatever.
Yes, sir.
I'm a part-time stand-up comedian, so I can't. I'm joking. I can throw some zingers out there. No, we will lose listeners. And I think we're up to 4 now. We were at 3.5 for a while, so we're up to 4. We don't want to lose those guys.
Can't do it.
No. NFL news. We'll kind of get into that real quick, and then we'll take a break. First and foremost, so on a serious note, Chad Wheeler, it's like backup guy in Seattle, who's since been released. Most people have heard by now he was arrested for domestic abuse and false imprisonment and resisting arrest. He allegedly basically laid waste to his girlfriend. Did you see those pictures?
Horrible. You would have thought she was in some type of community street fight.
I mean, it was bad. And then the worst thing is all of that seemed to have stemmed, again, based on what she was saying, that he demanded her to bow down to him.
Right. And
then I guess he choked her to unconsciousness twice. And like I said, her face was, I mean, she just looked like a completely different person. Yeah. And then what made it worse was there was a message posted, I guess, that she had sent, I don't know to who or what the context was, but she pretty much just said what happened. And she said the worst part of it was he went back to sit at the dinner table and was eating. And then when she ran out the room, he was shocked and was like, "Oh, you're alive," and just went to sipping a smoothie.
Right.
So where's the attempted murder charge?
Facts. I don't, for the life of me, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and to legitimately just beat somebody, yet alone a woman, to the point where she could have potentially died.
Yep.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just 100% immoral. I hope he never plays another down of football. I hope he gets the fullest extent of the law as far as charges and a conviction. And that just goes to show you that even, guys who do make it to that much, that level of success, within the league or anything, they can be just as horrible as your next door neighbor that plays music super loud. I'm being facetious, but still, for real, this guy is just straight trash. And it's really heartbreaking. I don't know what else to say. It's just bad.
No, absolutely. And that's part of the reason I personally just don't idolize players or celebrities or whatever. You know, if you meet your favorite player, that's cool or whatever. But I'm out of the game of idolizing players, celebrities, movie star, all that, because they have just as many, if not more, issues than the quote unquote regular person. But yeah, no, I don't condone violence, domestic violence. Like you don't hit women. It was not a thing of any sort of self defense. She was getting ready to shoot him, stab him, nothing. So you did what you needed to do to end the situation and then get out of there. No, the dude was a straight up monster.
Horrible.
So he does need to serve jail time. In my opinion. Again, Seahawks cut him. The NFL should never allow him to play
ever.
If Ray Rice, what happened to Ray Rice happened, then there's no even second guessing whether this clown should ever be back in the league. So, no, and it's serious, man. So if there's anyone listening that you're dealing with domestic violence, like reach out and get help
for sure.
It is no joke. It is no joke. But yeah, sorry we had to get dark on you for a minute, but it is news.
It is something we got to talk about.
Yep. So let's switch gears to a more positive note. QB trades. So searching around, keeping my ear to the streets, figuring out what's going on with just NFL news, right? It's the off season for everybody except the Bucs and the Chiefs. So, you know, sometimes you get some news. It's really the only thing that's out there right now is just QB trades, man.
Right, for real. You know, Jimmy G's up there. You got Matt Stafford. You got Deshaun Watson in the news,
who officially requested a trade, although we've known this for a while now. But so they hired the dude from it's like Cullen or something. Cully. I forgot the coach's name. He's from Baltimore, I believe. He was like an assistant.
Yeah, Romeo Crennel. Yep, he was.
No. It's not him.
Oh, it's not.
No, he was the interim coach for.
Oh, that's right. He was the interim
Houston.
coach. My fault.
But the guy they hired was a dude from. I want to say it was like Baltimore, but I mean like Louis Riddick was singing his praises and some other guys.
David Culley is what it is.
That's what it is, Culley.
David Culley. Yep.
Yeah. So even with that hire, it seems like Deshaun is just
he's like,
I'm
ready to go.
Yeah, he's just ready to go. Now reports are he wants to be traded to the Jets, and I think it's because he likes Robert Saleh. Is
right?
Now I just heard that today. I don't know how true it is because my first thought is who the hell wants to go play for the Jets, but I mean who knows? I mean they could. They could turn it around.
They could turn it around.
I just think they have too many front office issues. But again, I've seen stranger things happen a la Washington. I mean, we seem to have turned it around with Ron Rivera. Now, is Robert Saleh a Ron Rivera? I mean, it's yet to be seen. But I could see Watson going there. Now, it does seem like, and I believe it was, one of them. It wasn't Schefter. It might have been Ian Rappaport. Somebody was saying something to the effect of, I guess Houston is going to allow, like teams to submit their offers and Deshaun Watson to kind of look at and see what's what. Not necessarily, he doesn't care about the compensation, right? But just, okay, here are the teams that we're considering taking the trade on, and then he can sit and I guess talk with the teams and see what their vision is and what they want to do, so he can pick the best landing spot for him. I could see him in San Francisco. Now it does seem like they want to trade him to an NFC team, so that you got to think maybe Carolina, maybe Washington, maybe San Francisco. So that could get interesting
for sure.
I don't think we are willing to give up that much. I don't know. Clearly, I'm not in that building, so I don't really know. You're going to have to give up a lot to get him.
Yeah.
I'm willing to do it. I'm not parting ways with the Chase Young or anything like that.
Not at all.
Not happening. I would send like a Jonathan Allen or somebody.
For
but
sure.
I'm not. Maybe Daron Payne, but I'm not giving you Sweat. I'm not giving you Chase Young.
Nope, not happening.
But I will give you 3 firsts and maybe a third.
Because you guys are
first.
Because to me, you guys are right there. Like you just need a solid, stable, dynamic quarterback.
Yeah,
the receivers are there, running backs are there, coaching's there.
Some of the receivers are there. One, we definitely need another one.
I like Sim Squared though.
Well, as a third option, that's fine. That's fine, and he'll battle it out with Kelvin Harmon to see who will get that third spot. Kelvin Harmon's coming off of injury.
Right.
But Silky Sims, I think, will be in the third. Steve, he'd be lucky he'd be on the team. Them special teams screw ups. We got to get better. But yeah, so I mean, I could see Watson going to any of those teams. Right. Another big name, obviously being floated around, is Matt Stafford. Some people think that trade will happen before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Washington traded for Alex Smith a couple years ago. That broke right before the Super Bowl.
Don't do it.
Yeah, well. I'm fine with Stafford, right? Clearly. Right. Skill set is there. I mean, he threw for a ton of yards. What do you have? 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, something like that. He's clearly an upgrade over anything we've had here. Right. Team-friendly contract. So, I mean, I'm all in. Plus, it's going to be cheaper to get him as far as shipping away, draft picks.
For sure.
Et cetera, to get him versus a Watson. Now, I'm hearing that San Francisco's all but hammering out a deal and finalizing shit with Stafford. So if that happens, Jimmy G is going to be up for grabs. Keep him the hell away from DC. I don't want him. Porn star Jimmy. I don't want him.
We ain't got time for that.
I've just never been high on his skill set. You know, and you can go back and tout San Francisco's record and what they are with him in versus him. I don't care. Does he potentially provide better quarterback play than we've had? Yeah, probably. But I'm just not feeling it.
He seems like more of a fad than anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he had his time. It was cute, but now you're just like,
Yeah. No, for sure. Again, keep him away from us. I mean, Ron Rivera said that the quarterback position, like, they're going to be aggressive.
For sure.
You're super aggressive and you end up with a Tyrod Taylor or something, I'm going to be mad.
Well, aggressive to me sounds like Watson or Stafford, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's what it is. So apparently, like, Stafford put his house on the market, but then he bought one in California. I don't know what's going on.
Who knows?
Hopefully this stuff shakes out, and we land one of the top guys, because we need to solve that position. Another quarterback that I heard about, not sure if you did, this Derek Carr stuff's getting more.
It's picking up.
Yeah, it's picking up.
Oh,
not necessarily to Washington, but just him being traded.
Really? So, any idea on where, like, what their next move would be? Like, would they live with a Mariota?
I don't know.
Wow.
I could see them doing that as a bridge and just going after somebody in the draft this year, or something.
Right.
I mean, you're not just gonna get rid of him and then have nothing. So Mariota played. Remember when Carr got hurt at the end of the year? Mariota came in. It was like the Monday night game or something. It was a primetime game.
And he played pretty well.
And he played well. I don't think over a 16-game schedule he's going to have that same luck. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
Right.
He could turn it around like Tannehill did. So
facts.
Who knows? I don't know. Again, it's all rumors. I love anytime a quarterback is mentioned, I jump on Washington Football Twitter, because somebody has already photoshopped that individual into a Washington uniform. They even put Aaron Rodgers in one. That's another one. So they're saying Rodgers is pushing his way out because he's asking for more money. And they know, Green Bay doesn't typically do all that. So, he could either threaten retirement or whatever. I think Rodgers stays in Wisconsin.
For sure.
He's not leaving Green Bay.
Nope.
I think if he does, it's because he simply retired.
Yep.
So I could be wrong, but I think if he goes anywhere, he goes to San Francisco if they don't get the deal done with Stafford.
For sure.
I'm hoping they don't get the deal done with Stafford, because I would like to see him in Washington.
It's your guy.
But yeah, man, so that's just really all it is. It's just rumors. People are picking up names, throwing them around.
Yep.
We'll see what happens.
For sure.
Yeah, that's it. Let's do this. Let's go to break. Let's come back. And when we come back, you can go ahead and get into Philadelphia Eagles news. Yep. And I'll kind of skim over what's going on at Washington. It's just crickets, really. So we'll be right back.
Hey, people. It's Eddie and Marcus here from the Average Sports Guys podcast. Are you looking for screen printed shirts or hoodies? Maybe you need embroidered polos, hats, or beanies. If so, check out our guys over at Full Color Prints LLC, located in Chantilly, Virginia.
Yeah, head over to fullcolorprintsdc.com or find them on Instagram at DMV T-Shirt Guys and support your local business.
With over 15 years of experience, there's no wonder they're still in business and they're sure to meet your satisfaction.
The Average Sports Guys have used them, and you should too.
All right, we're back. So, as promised, Marcus, why don't you go ahead and get into the Philadelphia Eagles news and all that's going on with the coaching stuff and trade rumors.
And I just happened to show up in Eagles gear today. You can't see it, but under my hoodie, I got myself an Eagles team polo on, because you never know. I might get a phone call and be asked to, be a part of that coaching staff.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you had a T-shirt on that says "Help in Distress," because last couple of weeks you've been stressed out,
losing sleep. I didn't know what was going on. So, Eagles news, the top news is coming out of Philly. Number one, Zach Ertz is on the trade block, right? But like most Eagles fans, like myself, we're a little upset because of the fact that if you knew you were going to trade him, why not do it last year where he was coming off of a decent season to where you can get a better pick or better picks or a better trade value, right? So like last year he didn't really do too much, and I mean we might get a fourth, or like we talked about before the show, teams might just wait to release the dude because this is the last year of his contract. So why spend draft capital when you can literally just wait for the Eagles to release him, because we are in cap hell.
Yeah, y'all are. I was looking at that yesterday, some numbers. I mean, clearly the Saints are the worst.
Right.
I mean, they are in bad cap situation, but the Eagles are not far behind them.
No, we're really not. It's bad. From there, news-wise, Deuce Staley and Dave Phipp went to the Lions to be a part of that coaching staff with Dan Campbell.
So you'll be eating kneecaps?
Eating kneecaps and
chewing on hamstrings.
And it's crazy because this dude, like, legit, I mean, Dan Campbell, this dude was like a former tight end, bro. Like, he was a tight end for the Giants. And, he was on the Super Bowl squad with them, for the 2000 Super Bowl squad, and he was a tight end for the Lions. So at what point as a tight end do you eat kneecaps? Like, I'd understand if he was like a linebacker, if he was, like a strong safety, something. Nah, it was a straight up tight end. You don't eat kneecaps as a tight end. You block and you catch passes. Like, that's it, fam. Okay. So there's that. But like, my last and final thought on that one is how volatile must that front office in Philly must have been for Deuce Staley and Dave Phipp, or if you don't know who he is he was our special teams coordinator, to go to a team that's about to lose their franchise quarterback.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Deuce, right, a couple years ago, he interviewed for the OC position, didn't he? He didn't get it?
This dude has been the definition of like the Rooney Rule, like with every head coaching change since he's been there.
Yeah. I mean, so he's interviewed for elevated positions.
Right.
And he's not gotten it.
Nope.
And then this time, he interviewed to be the head coach. He was like one of the first people they interviewed.
Right.
That was to check off the black box. I'm just going to call it what it is.
It's the black box.
I understand the Rooney Rule and all those things. I don't really agree. It just sucks.
It does suck.
And then they tried to curb it a little bit to it's like more incentive to like hire, I guess, like a like black coach or minority coach, but
whatever.
Yeah. But in his case, I mean, you keep sticking it out. It's like interviewing. He clearly loved the organization,
right?
So he wanted to stay, which is why he kept interviewing, and he's not getting an opportunity. We weren't in the room. We don't know. I mean, he could actually just suck, and not have a good game plan. I wouldn't assume that would be the case.
Right.
But either way, I even told you, I was like, if he gets passed up for head coach, why stay?
Why even stay? Go to somewhere where you're going to be appreciated. And at the end of the day, I mean, Philly loves you. You can come back anytime, eat as many cheesesteaks, Philly pretzels, and water ice as you want. You are a part of the three-headed monster. We, in every tweet and every Instagram post and every Facebook post that I saw was, you know what, Deuce, they did you wrong. Go ahead, do you. Move up, We as a fan base understand you to be a brilliant football mind. For whatever reason, the Eagles front office doesn't. But then again, if you think about it, this is the same front office that, went ahead and moved on from Andy Reid to hire a Chip Kelly who was supposed to revolutionize, the NFL and the offensive scheme. And lo and behold, a few years later, that same Andy Reid went to the Chiefs and ended up doing what? Revolutionizing the NFL. So, I mean, if you really look at it historically, Eagles are par for the course right now with this coaching situation. We can either be, we could probably start out pretty good. I'm calling maybe 7-9 next season. And that's,
might win you the division.
Might win us the division. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, with, Sirianni as our head coach, but continuing with that line of thinking. So our D coordinator, was Jonathan Gannon. We brought him, from the Colts. He was their defensive backs coach. So we brought him from there. Our pass coordinator is Kevin Patullo. He was the receivers coach with the Colts, and you're basically seeing a trend right now.
Is the Indianapolis Eagles?
Yeah, basically it is the.
I mean, we're the Carolina football team now. I mean, it's like
we're like
the Washington Panthers,
right,
because we done brought everybody from
Philadelphia Kogels, bro. Like it's crazy. We actually brought in Tracy Rocker, so that stud was he a linebacker from Auburn from the 1980s. He was a legit defensive line coach for Auburn, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm actually interested to see what he does, differently, because we have a stud front four. And then we actually retained Jeff Stoutland, which is pretty cool.
Who was he? Offensive line coach?
He was our offensive line coach, so he's sticking around. Last but not least, I have to bring up the fact that we got rid of Press Taylor. That bum is gone. Thank God. Get him out of here. I honestly put more stock in the chief executive assistant hydration manager than Press Taylor. That man is gone. So I'm excited for that. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, to be real, right now, it's a huge question mark as far as the coaching staff or front office. We don't know what we don't know. Like, a lot of these guys were like highly unknown. So I'm interested to see what we do offensively. I'm interested to see what we do with draft picks. We'll get into that later. Since we hired an offensive-minded guy, I'm hoping we go offense, i.e. wide receiver, with pick number 6. But, there's all these rumors out there. Well, Howie Roseman said we're going to be a quarterback factory, and things like that. So
if y'all draft a quarterback,
bruh, if
burn
Fields
the
is
franchise
there,
to the ground.
If Fields is there, and
he basically hurts.
right, and then Howie Roseman's like, we're going to go Fields. Literally, you will see pitchforks and like burning cheesesteaks and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Listen, if they do that, right, I have other Washington jerseys. We can redecorate that side. It would take 2 seconds. I got it ready to go. I have a fan application you can fill out. I will approve it
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Like, literally, for real, like, right now, Philly, we're nervous. We're taking our Zoloft, we're taking our anxiety meds, because we're in for a wild ride over the next few months through the draft, through training camp.
Depending on how that goes, that wild ride could be years.
For sure. So, like I said, we're scratching our heads a little bit, but we'll see where this train takes us. But that's what I got coming out of Philly.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot going on in Washington. Ron Rivera, it has officially been deemed cancer-free. I did see that before we started the show, so that's awesome. We sent some representatives from our team down to the Senior Bowl. They got those practices going on this week. The game will be this weekend, so be interesting to see what sort of news comes out of there. There's not too many, if any, like beat reporters I've seen that are down there. Obviously, with all the COVID stuff, but it's pretty quiet. Like I said, I'm just waiting to see. Hopefully, we can get this deal done with Stafford, and he wants to come to DC. But yeah, outside of that, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet. We don't have a whole lot of coaching news stuff. Obviously, we have our GMs in place. We covered that last week. So interested to see how that part of it goes. Those three working together, Mayhew, Hurney, and Rivera. Again, Rivera will have the final say, but by all reports. So, but I think he'll lean on those guys and get their opinions, and hopefully we can plug some good players into some of our deficiencies and areas of need. Like I said, receiver, tackle, linebacker for sure, probably a corner, safety if you can get one, and then obviously quarterback. But I'm excited, man. This is the first offseason I've really been excited as a Washington football fan for many years. So very, very, very hopeful. But, yeah, that's all I got as far as that's concerned. So next week, as I stated earlier, it's going to be the Super Bowl show.
Facts.
So Marcus and I, we're going to cover snacks. We're going to cover beverages.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk about the halftime show, and I'll get Marcus's opinion on that, and then I'll give mine. There's some interesting commercials. We can even talk about the commercials. Now, I think this year's going to be different as far as Super Bowl commercials. Like Budweiser's already said they're not putting in their usual commercials and stuff. They're reallocating their marketing funds for COVID awareness and vaccine type stuff. So
that's good.
Maybe different, but again, we can still talk about some Super Bowl commercials of yesteryear, and
for sure.
Like I said, halftime show, and then we're obviously going to get into the matchup. We'll give you our pick, who we think is going to win and why, and we will. I'm trying to think what else we got. We'll throw in some other wrinkles next week. Mike, let's get a guest on next week.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do with that. And, ultimately we're looking to see if Andy Reid will get his
good point.
revenge because, that Super Bowl, Donovan McNabb and T.O. and all those guys, I'm going to break that down a little bit further for next week. But overall, it's going to be a great game. Also, something else I'm going to be watching in the meantime, apparently NFL Films did a little bit of a documentary, or they did interviews with the guys that like to hang out at that Philadelphia Chiefs sports bar. And a childhood friend of mine, Anthony Mazzone, and his family and his dad, they go there every season, and they did a whole thing, like a whole documentary. I want to say a mini series on it. So be on the lookout for that on the NFL Network. Shout out to Anthony Mazzone and his family and everything. But there's a lot of good things coming up next week. And next week, man, I'm excited. So yeah,
for sure. As always, be sure to head over to our website, averagesportsguys.com. You can find all of our podcasts are there. We're back on YouTube, Average Sports Guys on YouTube. Our videos will post to the website as well. Be sure to head over there and, subscribe everywhere. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Yep. We're out of here. We'll see y'all next week.
We out.